So when we think of freaks of nature in basketball, we think of the likes of LeBron James, some would think of Yao Ming, and nowadays recently, Zion Williamson is the obvious person that people are talking about as a freak of nature. He'll be one of the heaviest players in the NBA, and he's like 6'6" with like a 45-inch vertical, which is unbelievable. However, when we think of freaks of nature in women's basketball, really the only one that comes into people's minds is Brittney Griner. Brittney Griner is a 6'8" center, wears size 17 shoes, men's sizes, not women's sizes, and has a wingspan of well over 7 foot. When she was in college at Baylor University, she was like nothing that we'd ever seen before in women's basketball. And coming out of college, I'm not even exaggerating, she was one of the most talked about basketball players in that college class. To be fair, it was a really bad year for men's college basketball. It was the Kevin Ware year with Louisville. It was the year where Nerlens Noel tore his ACL, and it was a 2013 draft, which everyone knew was going to be the worst draft classes in years. And apart from Giannis, CJ McCollum, it's been kind of an Oladipo, it was kind of a really bad draft class in the end. So in the NCAA tournament, the biggest talking point was none of those players. The biggest talking point wasn't even men's basketball. It was Brittney Griner. So in this video, I'm going to look back on 5 years ago and talk about the reasons for this. So anyway, before we get on to the video, I'd just like to say we are doing a daily December. It is day number 30 right now. So we have got one more day left to go after this. If we get 500 likes in this video in the first 3 hours, I will make 2 videos tomorrow. And that'll be it for daily December. That's it for the year. We're trying to hit 90,000 subscribers by the end of the month, and it's looking like we've got a good chance of hitting it. 650 off the time recording, so we are not that far off hitting it, which would be absolutely incredible if we get 90,000 by the end of the month. So if you guys like basketball content, subscribe, and also leave a like if you want 2 videos tomorrow. But anyway, now let's get on to it. So Brittney Griner is probably the most dominant college basketball player women's basketball I've ever seen. In her freshman year, she set an NCAA record for blocks, where she averaged 6.4 blocks per game with a season high of 14. As the years went on, her points per game went up quite a bit, from 18.4 in her freshman year to 23.8 in her senior year. However, her blocks per game went down to 4.8 with a season high of only 7 in her final year. In her 4 years at Baylor University, she made the Sweet 16 once, Elite 8 once, Final 4 once, and won the championship in her junior year. Her team went 40-0 in her junior year. So from how good she was in college, she was really hyped up in 2013. However, in April 2013, something was said which pretty much just set off the entire basketball world. And it was said by Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, who genuinely said that there was a chance that he would draft Brittney Griner. This is a direct quote from Mark Cuban. "If she's the best on the board, I will take her. I've thought about it already. Would I do it? Right now, I'd lean towards yes, just to see if she can do it. You never know unless you give somebody a chance, and it's not like the likelihood of any late 50s draft pick has a good chance of making it." So Mark Cuban genuinely said that he may draft Brittney Griner in the NBA draft. And after this statement was made, the entire basketball media went into a frenzy. If you look up Brittney Griner NBA and look up things from 5 years ago, a few days after this statement was made, pretty much all they were asking NBA players was, do you think Brittney Griner can make it? Do you think Brittney Griner can make the NBA? Do you think a woman will ever make the NBA? And like even talk shows like First Take, back when it was Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless, they had an entire segment on Brittney Griner and the NBA. However, as we all know, it didn't happen. The Dallas Mavericks didn't draft Brittney Griner in the NBA draft, and she went number 1 in the WNBA drafted Phoenix Mercury. She won the WNBA championship in her second year. She started basically every game she's played. She's a 5-time All-Star. There's only 1 year where she wasn't an All-Star in the WNBA. Last season, she averaged 20.5 points per game. However, her blocks per game are actually going down from 3 in her rookie year to 4 in her third year, and now it's back down to 2.6 blocks per game, which honestly isn't great considering the physical tool she has. She's got a 7-foot wingspan, hands bigger than Kareem, and is 6'8" in women's basketball, where that's extremely tall. However, in her 6 seasons in the WNBA, she's never been the WNBA MVP. So at no stage was she considered the best player in the WNBA, and she's probably not going to go down as the best female basketball player of all time, like a lot of people would have expected from how just dominant she was in college. So looking back on it, Mark Cuban's statements were a little bit crazy. Like in hindsight, she was a 6'8" center, which is almost impossible in the NBA. She could barely dunk. Like she could dunk, which in women's basketball is like, it's a lot rarer than men's basketball. She could dunk, but it wasn't like she was dunking on people, things like that. She wasn't like a freak athlete in terms of NBA standard. And at her size, she'd be a similar enough size to the likes of LeBron James, smaller than Kevin Durant. And there's some point guards nowadays that are bigger than that. There's point guards that are 6'9", 6'10" coming into the NBA. Well, point forwards coming in. Like, obviously, Giannis, who went in the NBA draft in the same year, is just a complete freak. So, looking back on it, Brittney Griner specifically never really would have stood much of a chance in the NBA. However, looking back on it, it was a legitimate possibility that she was going to play a game in the NBA. Would she have been a star? No, obviously, but she may have played in an NBA game. And I honestly don't think that that's impossible in the future. While obviously I don't think any female basketball players are going to be stars in the NBA, and while I think that it's almost impossible that there's a female basketball player that'll be good enough to be even a rotation player in the NBA, I honestly think that, especially with how close Griner was, and to someone who's got Brittney Griner's natural size and, I don't know, even just has a three-point shot, I would not be surprised to see them get a chance in the NBA, or at least a chance in an NBA Summer League game to see how they get on. Will it happen soon? Probably not, but I would not be surprised to see something like that happening in my lifetime anyway. So anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.